Alright, so I just finished the Titanfall 2 campaign, and man, it hit me, and it hit me well. Um, if you guys have played it, you know what happens, and it gets pretty emotional, and usually I'm not into single-player games, and for, I'd say the first half of the campaign, I was kind of just going through the motions. It was fun to play, obviously movement is great in Titanfall 2. Combat is awesome, and they add a lot of variety to the campaign in terms of environments and different activities. So you're not just running and gunning the whole time, you're also platforming, and all of it's really, really enjoyable because the core gameplay is enjoyable. It's fun to just move around, and it's fun to shoot. But what I wasn't expecting, even though I saw all the other critics and all the other reviews saying that I think campaign is amazing. You get an emotional attachment to your character, primarily BT. I mean, he's just so I don't know. He's not nothing, and he's not anything crazy out of left field. You know, he's a Titan, a robot, and you just get a sense of camaraderie with him just by working with him, conversing with him. And I think they did a good job of making it personal. You know, a pilot and his mech, or his Titan. And you become attached to him through the different things that you do together, the interactions. And it's really well done. The experience is well paced as well. You start off, you know, with not too much going on. You know, it's just you and the Titan fighting other Titans, and that progressively gets more difficult. The game does a good job of adding a lot of variety too. So in the beginning, you're a rifleman, and you take over the mantle of a pilot that has gone missing, and you work with this Titan to find out what happened to his pilot. And along the way, develop a relationship, obviously, with BT, your Titan, and you engage in combat, exploration, which is minimal, and some platforming, which is enjoyable. And what really surprised me is, I'm going to call them gimmicks, but the variety that they added. So, in particular, I really enjoyed the platforming, and how they spice that up is they add a additional mechanic. So not only is wall running and jumping enjoyable, it just feels cool, it looks cool, and it works really, really well. I think they took a lot of inspiration from Mirror's Edge, because there were some portions, particularly when you were climbing up the, I think it was the data center or the satellite, where there were clear red things that you needed to go towards. And that definitely reminded me of Mirror's Edge, where red kind of led you down a certain path to kind of show you where to go. And I loved Mirror's Edge, but the platforming in this game is more fluid, and it incorporates the combat within the movement. It's not separate. It's not two separate things. It's woven together well. But one thing that they did to spice things up was that they added a time travel mechanic, which is essentially just a kind of location shift or parallel world type situation. Very similar to Guacamelee, where you just kind of shift into different dimension, and that allows you to traverse obstacles like doors or laser fences that you can't go through, but you can go through if you time travel, because you'll be in the same location, but things will have changed. So you go from the pristine building of the past, and you time warp into the future, which is actually the present day, where the building is, you know, just destroyed and creatures have overrun it. And it's interesting to just go back and forth, and it's easy. It's just one button, and it's actually quick. It's almost instantaneous. Audio cues are great to know that you've done it, and to help you orientate yourself to the two different environments. Any creatures from the future, let's say, or your present day, show up as blue kind of ghosts. So that way when you're swapping in and out, you know where they are and where to attack. It moves into the story, but again, I wasn't really too invested in the story. To me, it's a cool game where you run and gun, run around, and you and your buddy, the Titan, work together to accomplish a goal. Another great thing is that in the beginning, like I said, you're a rifleman, not a pilot, so you're not actually certified to ride the Titan. But through the course of the story, you earn your ability to become a pilot, essentially, to be working with your Titan BT. BT actually requests that you stay with them because you guys are so good together. And while that moment is impactful because it's showing that BT, you know, enjoys your company, really thinks you guys work together, wants to be part of a team or a partnership with you, it's further emphasized through the next series of events where you work with a team of pilots to attack a ship, infiltrate it, and you work together. This is the first time that you've worked with a team of pilots, like highly skilled soldiers, and that they're vocal and they act like a team. Like, okay guys, let's do this. Okay, we're in cover. And it makes you feel like you kind of made it. Like, okay, now I'm in the big leagues. Before I was just kind of scrapping along with my Titan, just kind of figuring things out as I went. But now I kind of know combat, I know what I'm doing, and now I'm like a pilot. I am the guy now. And these guys have embraced me and said, you know, you're part of the team now, and you're part of an elite force. You feel like you're part of those badasses now. And it's punctuated, or the climax of that is when you fight the Viper, which is just a cool-ass boss fight. And there are a lot of cool boss fights in the game. They obviously have kind of like an intro, like most bosses do, where you see the name and get a little bit of the personality of the boss, of the person controlling the enemy Titan. And the boss battles are pretty cool because you get a little bit of variety, right? So it's a contained environment where you're fighting 1v1 versus a Titan that's a little bit stronger and a little bit smarter than anything you faced before. And it varies the gameplay. So when you're running around shooting as a pilot, it's all about mobility, getting into cover, and it's very a human scale. But when you're in the Titan, everything is much larger because the scale is just huge, right? And they emphasize that by being in very large environments and by making all of the effects just huge, and you see, relative to your size as a Titan, the height that you have over objects, and the scale is just completely different. Like, you see plane ships that are way below you, little airships, and it's a trip. But yeah, I mean, Titanfall 2, I wasn't expecting to enjoy the campaign. It grew on me. I'm normally not into single-player games because I feel like they hold your hand too much. I feel like they drag things out, and I don't feel like the story is worthwhile. And while I don't think Titanfall 2 is like a perfect single-player campaign, it's definitely worth the time. And that's high praise, because most single-player games, it feels like you're kind of watching a movie and you're just in the back seat. This game, the single player in this game, you are active most of the time, and the cutscenes or a little dialogue break up the rhythm, but don't bring it to a screeching halt. It's usually not too intrusive, which I appreciate. And I don't think they tried to do too much. The story is serviceable. The characters are relatable. There's no over-the-top craziness. There's no one-liners, or there's nothing that they're not trying to be too crazy to get a reaction. They're just doing a standard, like, this is what actually would happen in this world, and the characters feel like they belong in the world and they're part of it, rather than being like, you know, these crazy caricatures or like this like over the top, trying to get your attention, trying to make you feel a certain way type situation. Now, you definitely feel like you want to defeat your enemies because the enemies generally feel like bad guys, but they don't say anything that's like cringy or anything that's crazy. And same thing I would say with you know, BT and everything. Like, sure, he's a robot. Some things might, you know, be a little like corny, but at the end of the day, most of the time, you're just smiling through it, and you're going from, you know, activity to activity. You're not really dwelling on what's being said or what's being done, for the most part. And that's kind of what I like in a single-player game. I want to be able to do stuff, and it's also just a great tutorial. The single-player lets you learn all of the mechanics, right? So running, gunning, wall running, sliding, jumping, and it tests you in these. So when you're wall running, first it just lets you do simple wall running, but then you have to make sure that you can double jump from wall to wall, that you're gauging your height on the wall as your different obstacles, like there'll be electric fences and things like that, to get in your way. So they test you so you know what to do. And one thing that I thought was amazing was there's one point when you're wall running and then you have to jump in through a door or window into a room, and to me that just indicated something that you'd want to do in multiplayer, where someone's in a room just maybe camping out, and how do you get to them? Well, you move fast, and your ability to move so fast counteracts camping, which is a big issue that I know they wanted to address in this game. They didn't want the frustration of players dying in multiplayer due to camping, and that's why the mobility is so ridiculous in a good way in Titanfall 2. And another great part of the campaign as a tutorial perspective is the Titans. You get different loadouts for each Titan, so you want to check them out as you pick up weapons, and you also fight the different Titans. So you see firsthand how to use each of the Titans, and you learn how to fight each Titan. And this experience helps you when you go into the multiplayer. So it's a great tutorial without feeling like a tutorial. You learn it as you're going through the single player, which is great. That's kind of just how I like to play games. Usually when I go to play a multiplayer game, I just jump right in and try and test things out. Fail miserably at a lot of the time, but if the experience is good, meaning the gameplay, what am I doing, how do I interact with the game, with other players, with the environment, if that's good, then I'll pick up the game, I'll learn everything as I go, as long as the minute-to-minute decisions and actions are enjoyable. And so far I've been enjoying the multiplayer. I just posted a video yesterday about how much fun I had, and that maybe the game is too overwhelming in multiplayer, like maybe there's too much going on and not enough downtime, but I'm going to keep trying and see if it's something that I just need to get accustomed to, the pace and the intensity of the games. But yeah, let me know, guys, what you liked about the campaign. You know, certain moments that highlighted for me were definitely the thumbs up that I got from BT and one of the like little bots. Definitely at the end, what BT did definitely stuck with me, and just some of the dialogue that you have with BT in the boss battles. The bosses just seemed cool. Voice acting seemed good. Acting seemed good. Animations, movement, characters, the world. It's all really, really cool. I didn't think I would like it as much as I did. It grew on me, definitely. The world is super cool. It's futuristic. You know, Earth. Alright guys, well thanks for tuning into this video, and see you guys in the next one. Bye.